I realize for every month or every day or every week that you're apart, it takes that same amount of time to recreate that intimacy. So as much as we hope that phones and messages and Zooms and FaceTimes can keep the communication, it can keep the connection, obviously there's love, but the intimacy has to be reinvested. Imagine if you did not tend to a garden for 6 months. It would be messy, it would be wild, and then you'd have to reinvest. The first question is one that I think you'll expect, but I do want you to think about it. What is a challenge that you've overcome this year? What was something really difficult that you did? What was something that you broke through? Maybe there was a fear. Maybe there was something that you hadn't done for a long time. Maybe there was something that was holding you back. Maybe there was something that you just didn't feel you had what it takes, but you did it. What was that? And it doesn't have to be big. I think we think about doing hard things as something huge. Sometimes it could be having a difficult conversation with a family member. Sometimes it was disconnecting with a friend or reconnecting with a friend. Right? What was a challenge that you overcame this year personally? I know for me, it was my health journey. I had double hernia surgery, which was a big part of a challenge that I overcame this year, of having to go through that. Another challenge I overcame this year, which really, really had a big impact on me, was taking charge of some things that I was hoping other people would take care of. Right? A challenge in my mindset that I felt I didn't have enough time, that someone else could do it, that I didn't think I had to do it. And I realized that taking charge of that felt so good. That was a challenge for me, to find the time, to find the energy to take care of it, when I'd hoped that I could outsource it or that someone else could take it. The second question I want you to ask yourself is a surprise you dealt with, something you weren't expecting, that you had to pivot for. The reason I'm asking you to reflect on these is that studies show that reflecting on how you've overcome past challenges helps you to better process negative experiences in the future. People have the ability to use these moments as a source of creativity and motivation. So we think we're bad at dealing with difficulties because we've never noticed how well we've dealt with them in the past. If we've never sat down to reflect on how did I deal with a bad thing last year, we don't know how to deal with a bad thing next year. So what was a surprise you dealt with? My hernia surgery was definitely a surprise. Getting COVID for me was a surprise for the first time in 3 years. That was a surprise. I think that pivoting to the new demands, I realized that at the beginning of the year, I thought I had a plan, and then I realized I'd overcommitted in certain areas. That was a surprise that I dealt with. And so I dealt with the surprise that me and Radhi were distant for such a long time this year because of her work, my work, because of visa things and issues and challenges and everything else. Like, we literally couldn't see each other for nearly 6 months this year. And that was a big surprise. We didn't plan for that. We didn't know that was going to happen. We didn't have the foresight or the communication to know how to deal with that. And so the way I dealt with that was really interesting, that I realized, especially when it comes to relationship surprise, that I realized for every month or every day or every week that you're apart, it takes that same amount of time to recreate that intimacy. So as much as we hope that phones and messages and Zooms and FaceTimes can keep that, it can keep the communication, it can keep the connection. Obviously there's love, but the intimacy has to be reinvested. It has to be rebuilt. Imagine if you did not tend to a garden for 6 months. It would be messy, it would be wild. And then you'd have to reinvest. And so, of course, Radhi and I have been together now for nearly 10 years, married for 6. And it was just so beautiful to fall in love again and again, like to go through that process of reconnecting, deepening our intimacy, rediscovering each other. And to me, that was a surprise that I dealt with this year. And I'm sharing mine with you because I want to be vulnerable with you. The third question that I want you to answer is something you bought this year, a tangible thing that you bought this year that you love. an investment that was amazing, like a really good investment of money, something you bought this year and you're like, I am so happy that I put money into that, right? For me, it's probably, I'm going to probably use tech. It's probably my iMac and my iPad. They've been great investments. I travel a lot, so my iPad's amazing when I'm traveling. The iMac's great on my desk. I feel like it's made my time at my desk more productive. It's made it more fulfilling. I was tired of staring at a tiny screen all day, and I feel like having that bigger screen is really helpful. I felt when I was traveling that I wasn't really as productive. I wasn't being able to also entertain myself while I was moving around and traveling. So I just want you to know that you bought something this year. It could have been a course. It could have been a program. It could have been a certification. It could have been a workout. It could have been a therapy session, right? What did you buy this year? It could even be a coat, right? You love this coat that you bought, or you love this t-shirt that you bought, or this vacation that you bought. What did you spend money on that you're really proud of yourself for, that you're really happy with yourself? Because I think often we spend money and we get really hard on ourselves when it feels like it was wasting money. But when we actually invest money, or it grows or it compounds, we don't always feel that way, right? It's interesting how hard we can be on ourselves. Oh, I shouldn't have bought that. Oh, I wish I didn't waste money on that. Oh, that's been a waste of time. And what's something you bought this year that you think that was great? Another investment experience. So let's celebrate our expenditures too. I think spending money is something we're always so harsh on ourselves for. What's something you bought that really, truly made a difference this year and really feels like